point, the flight was going beautifully. I was soaring with the eagles up there, the birds, recording some great fall foliage. It was a great day to fly, as Bill would say. The Mini 2 was performing well, recording some very cinematic looking video up there. But, don't be fooled. Disaster was going to strike soon. Okay, this is the map of my second flight of the day, which is my fatal flight here. As you can see, the drone's in the air now, and we're turning it to face the boaters that were going by that I was attempting to film. So I take it off, and I'm spinning around here a couple times because of the light here was pretty harsh at this point. So I'm trying to get the best angle to film them if they're not in the in the shadows here. And this is the second flight. The first flight went perfect. I flew down to the far end of the lake, and I did a return to home, and it came back accurately, just like my settings. It flew back over about 200 feet up, and he returned to within a few feet of where I was standing on the shoreline here. So, okay, here we finally got ourselves positioned to go the other way because the boaters are moving pretty fast, so they've passed me by and they're heading, we'll say, south in the lake here. So I'm kind of doing a dipsy-do here, just kind of hovering around right kind of where I'm standing. So everything's looking good at this point. I've got, full battery, I've got 20 satellites, everything's looking good. So here again, I'm just trying to get myself in position. I'm going to trail them because I have the sun at my back at the most. So here, I don't go very far away from myself. I'm only flying about 35 feet in the air at this point, and I only get about 500 feet away. I think the stats are here, but I'll have to get them up on the screen if I can. So here we go. Now I'm trying to get behind the boats here. And all of a sudden, I lose my FPV. I get that spinning that you saw at the end of the last video, similar to what Marcus Crawford got in his first flight with his Mini 2. So again, I jumped the gun. Right now, I think I still have, okay, stop now. Here's where I've lost all connection. And I changed the mode button, as Lauren then told me to do, to sport mode, and it hit return to home. But, it's totally going on its own. I was never in that area. Now it's crashed into a tree, at this point, and it's like fallen in the water. So eventually, I can't connect to the drone at all. All right, you've seen the the crash now, and the actual video FPV from the camera, and then the little map thing of where the drone was in the lake. So to kind of recap here, this was my second flight. I did a successful first flight. Everything went well. No problems of any kind. I landed the drone. I put a second full battery in the drone. Immediately took it back off. Everything looked good again. I had, at some 1.22 satellites. I had a full battery. I had already did a full return to home on the first flight. It returned, within a few feet of where it took off, where I was standing on the shore. So I knew where I was as far as return to home. There was nothing to interfere that I could see with the signal out there. I was in a rural environment. I didn't see any cell phone towers or no big metal objects or compasses around me, or magnets, I should say. So, and then I saw some motors go by, rowboaters. And I decided to go maybe get some footage of them. I'd seen them down at the other end of the lake when I was flew down there. They were around a little island down at the other end of the lake. But anyhow, so I decided to take off, and I wanted to get some close footage. So I only flew about 35 feet in the air, and I think I got about 200, a little bit over 250 feet away from me, but dead on straight line. Nothing between me, and the boat over an open lake. And again, everything was going fine until all of a sudden, I saw that the same thing I saw in Marcus Crawford's first flight of the Mini 2, where it just looked like it was kind of spiraling downward, like the camera was looking down and it was spinning and so on. But it happened so quick. It didn't get recorded at any place. I wasn't doing a screen recording because I didn't intend this to be like a outside any type of video except just a scenic video. I didn't intend it to be an instructional video of any type. So I wasn't doing a screen recording. But I saw that on my screen. I was using the iPad Mini 5, and I was on the latest version of the Fly app at this point, and the latest version of the iOS app for the iPad also. But anyhow, so I saw that, that strange thing where it looked like it was spinning or whatever. At that point, I looked down and I seemed to have lost connection of the drone. I didn't seem to have any more control of it. So I remembered what Lauren told Marcus on the live show last week, the switch modes on the controller. So I switched modes. I think I was in cinematic mode, so I switched all the way over to sport mode. I did not seem to regain any control. And then at that point, I thought, well, I'm going to hit the return home, because when I lost the connection, the drone's supposed to rise to its height, which is over 200 feet that I set in the settings, and then return to me. Well, when I hit return home, instead of return to me, it went almost the opposite direction, a direction I had never been that day. I only flew in one spot that day, right where I was standing on the shore near that lighthouse, and it went almost the opposite way. It did not raise at all, went the opposite way, and crashed kind of sideways, backwards, into a tree along the shore, and went down and landed in some amount of water. And I only know this because my wife kind of saw the location that it was in. So we went to that, it's like a person that had a house at the lake. So we went there. The lady was real nice. She let me look for it in the yard, but we did not see it. It was getting dark. I didn't have a lot of flashlight gear with me or anything like that. So she said she would, look for it in the morning. She took my phone number and name phone number. And so I went home thinking, the Mini's at the bottom of the lake, and I don't have a drone to recover the scent back. But the next morning I get the call from the lady, and she said her neighbor found it, and that she said you can come pick it up. So I went out to pick it up, and I found it in this condition. I do like a little tabletop thing of the condition I found it in. So that'll be the next segment. Okay, let's see if the drone will still turn on. Here's the battery that was involved in the crash, and got submerged in some water. I hate to say submerged, got in water, and we're going to put the battery back in. As you can see, there's there's a crack up here in the plastic. You see this is loose up here. This part is not, won't push back down again. It looks like some of these legs, the leg over here is cracked. This one seems okay. So that's most of the visual damage. The camera and gimbal seem good. So it was mostly this crack here, this piece lifted over here, this leg is going to crack. Propellers actually still look, in good shape in this. That somehow the props did not get messed up is amazing. So we're going to see if we got power here. And batteries inserted in. We're going to push the buttons on the bottom here. Alright, so we have no power whatsoever in the drone right now. I don't know if that is the drone itself or the battery, so we will try a different battery. So let's pop this up here, pull this. The battery was out in the drone during the crash. We will get a battery that was not involved in the crash, put it in. Alright, now we'll try it again. Nothing here. Try and insert it one more time. Alright, nothing. I got one more battery to try that wasn't involved in the crash. Right, here's another battery that was not involved in the crash, and it doesn't seem like the connectors here were damaged at all. And the drone's been, out of the water for almost 48 hours now, so it's pretty dry now, or it's dry. Alright, so let's try it again at the bottom here. Alright, so we got no power whatsoever to the drone. Alright, so that's the damage, the physical damage to the drone, and the fact that we have no power. There we go. Okay, well, to wrap things up, I opened the ticket up, a DJI repair ticket. I did buy the DJI Care for it. I think got the proper word. Care was like around $59, $69. So I think I have a couple free replacements, but I'm sending it for repair, and I requested that analysis where they're going to, do a complete analysis of the drone and send me a report back to what happened here. Because as far as I could tell, it was, no user error on my part at all. It should not have lost connection at that closer range with no obstacles or anything blocking it. So we're going to wait to see what DJI says, and we send it for repair. And if they can repair it, it should be under warranty. It's only like a week or so old. Of course, it only came out on, what date did these come out? The 4th, 5th, something like that. But if not, if they say I have to pay for any repairs on it, I'll just use one of my replacements that I get with the Care refresh. So the good news is, in one way, that's going to be taken care of here as far as me getting another working unit. The bad news is, at this point, I do not know what happened to it. I've never seen this kind of performance out of one of my DJI drones before, either out of the Mini 1, the Air 2, the Mavic 2 Pro, my older Phantom 4, my Spark. I've never seen this type of loss of signal and not failing to go into the designated return to home mode, which again I knew was set because I had already just 5 minutes previously to this I'll call it crash, lost the connection. I had done a return to home and it worked perfectly. So So I know that's not the issue, that not knowing where it was supposed to return home. But so I will, do a follow-up video when I get the Mini 2 back again, and maybe I can, get some insight into DJI and what happened. And if I do get it back, of course, I'll have a little loss in faith on it. After I saw this performance, maybe it was all a software issue that would be fixed. There's a new update to the Fly app out right now. Maybe that fixed whatever happened in there. And I did get a report from my friend Brian Singleton that the last DJI update, the one before, was causing some issues with some people's Mini 1s flying away. So, and Marcus Crawford did have somewhat of a similar issue with mine, but he was able to hit the return to home button and get his to eventually come back. Now, he was flying much higher altitude than I, so maybe his had more time to recover, and maybe because I was flying somewhat low, 35 feet off the, we'll call the water, it didn't have the time to figure itself out. So, I don't know, at this point, I just don't know. So, yeah, I know, some people say, well, I was flying too low for the water. You hear that all the time, and, maybe, I don't know. I've flown over the water, that low over the water before with no issues, and it was kind of getting dark, so I don't think the water would have been that reflective at that point. Like, it wasn't like I was flying in bright sunlight where the water would have been a mirror or reflected into the downward facing cameras. But again, we'll wait to see what DJI has to say when they send me back the report of what the issue is, and I will do a full video on that. So I was going to say, I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't know if the crash video is enjoyable, but I hope you got something out of this video. And, we will, try to get this all sorted out, and we will see you in the next one.